when the show wants to get all boobies and stuff, I'm just like, man, where's the plot again? Where'd
And
that plot go? My opinion. Every time he gets flirted with by somebody else, even though there's no reason for him to be getting flirted with, I'm just like, yeah, it's just the self-insert.
or are you just jealous of Belle?
Maybe it's both.
Maybe we're jealous. I don't know. Yeah, I hate him
See
so
how
bad.
green I'm turning.
Every girl he talks to falls in love with him. Why can't I be like that? Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today we're talking about, is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Some people call it DanMachi, I think is what I found in my research a little bit, but it was picked out of our anime chest here. We have a ton of anime, excusing the, is it wrong to pick up girls and try to pick up girls in the dungeon one.
Yep.
We have a ton more anime that are still here on our chest. And if you like to submit an anime of yours that you really enjoy or really want us to watch and review, $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch is how you do it. Get your anime in there, and then we go ahead and rank them. And we have so many. Most recently, Mashal leveling up to A there on our list. Sheesh. We have a ton that are in S and A, and I don't know, where is this anime? Where's DanMachi gonna go? We'll talk about it by the end of the 3 episodes we're going to talk about this anime. But I don't go on this journey alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing really good. Had a nice, quiet Halloween yesterday. I didn't ask you how your Halloween was. I'm so sorry. Hope you had a good Halloween.
Yeah, it was good.
Like you were saying, ready to talk about this anime. Quite an interesting one that we have here, because I feel like I've made it pretty apparent, pretty known throughout our time here that, like, I'm just not the biggest fan of fan service stuff. When the show wants to get all boobies and stuff, I'm just like, man, where's the plot again? Where'd that plot go?
And I understand that, and I understand why some people it's like really off-putting for somebody to watch something like that. And me, where I'm like okay with it, I'm fine with some of that stuff. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? Give me some anime, whatever. But for some reason in this anime, it's not hitting me right. A little bit because of, I don't know, Heshta looking like a little girl. And it's like, okay, this ain't all too good. But we'll get into all that stuff because we're gonna review the first 4 episodes. So if you haven't watched the first 4 episodes of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, come back, watch this episode later on. But you have not seen this show before.
Correct. I have not seen it. I don't really know anything about it outside of the title, and the title definitely lends already again a certain type of expectation and as to
Sure.
what type of show is going to be getting into. It doesn't, thankfully, go completely in the direction I thought it was going to be going. Like, I can, at the end of these 4 episodes, I'm like, okay, I can see what's here, and I could see potential in this becoming something better. But whether or not I would have been able to get through these 4, we will talk about as we go.
Yeah, definitely. I did want to bring up something, but I think it'll be better if we talk about some stuff once we get past into talking episode 1. So let's get into it. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in the dungeon? Episode 1, Belle Crenelle / Adventurer. They have 2 titles, I suppose, for each episode, but
it's very interesting. In a world where gods have abandoned the heavens in order to live amongst mortals, granting certain mortals portions of their power, we are introduced to Belle. Belle is an adventurer, but one day he has to be saved in the dungeon by someone he finds himself being smitten by. Belle is discouraged to approach this Ice Wallenstein because she is a powerful adventurer, unlike him. We are then introduced to Hestia, the god that Belle pledges to. He is a part of her familia. She is concerned that their familia is small, but due to Belle's crush on Ice, he gains a new effect that is changing him. Belle catches the attention of a tavern employee who gives him a free meal in exchange for a promise to return later for dinner, and Hestia becomes irritated when Belle suddenly improves due to his crush on Wallenstein. Bell is brought crashing back down, however, as someone from Wallenstein's group badmouths him at the tavern, causing him to leave in a hurry, storming out. He returns to the dungeon, trying to power up, where Hestia finds him later, him proclaiming his desire to become strong.
That was episode 1. Hello, Bubsy. Hello, everybody watching live, either on YouTube or on Twitch. Belcoon. So we start off this anime. Hello, Lola. Hello, hello, hello. So first thing I gotta note before, because this is kind of like plays into the entirety of the show, DanMachi, about the idea of gods descending onto the world of humans for the rest of eternity, living a modest life. They're not able to use their abilities or anything. Um, Instantly, when you start to see that this anime has gods who you may know of, names of, I mean, a popular one you probably would know of is Loki comes up later
Sure.
on. Hestia, some Hephaestus, you've heard probably, and some other gods and stuff. Do you instantly like, because it's done before, it's
Yeah,
been millions of times.
sure.
Do you, when you hear that's the case, and then you start hearing names that you're sort of familiar with, is it like a with this anime? Is it like an instant groan, or you're just like, okay, let me see where this goes?
It's for me, it's let me see where this goes for sure. It's not an immediate groan because like you said, it's been done so many times, but as long as the story is kind of like presenting these characters in a light that is that's kind of like providing them a way to interact with the story in a better degree. And that's where I think like the whole idea, like you said, gods, they have to give up their powers in order to come down to earth. That's kind of like one of the big crucial world building points that we have here, is that it's that's already something super different. Like, okay, like we have all the gods and we're gonna get like the personalities out of them, but we're
Mhm,
not gonna get their godly powers. And so it's like for some people, oh, gods without godly powers, ugh. But like for me, I think it's an opportunity to expand on the gods as like actual characters.
mhm,
And uh in actual like Greek literature about the gods and stuff, they're not perfect people. They have flaws and they have traits and they have personalities. So but I feel like in more contemporary storytelling, when you involve them, it is usually more focusing on their godly powers and such. So
mhm,
it's a very interesting like avenue to go with these familiar names and stuff, putting them in these situations, like having a little ball or a party where all the gods are like coming back together and they're like, oh, haven't seen you in how many years? It's been
yeah.
4 days. Like that's not how time works anymore. So like they're doing enough with it to keep it as an interesting premise, but an interesting premise is not enough to carry a show alone.
Definitely. So the premise here, the gods, like we were talking about, are going and descending down, and they have their own little crew they call familia. And these people they grant the blessing on, which they have the power to defeat monsters. And then um more so along the lines of like the actuality of what's happening. They grant the blessings to these people, and then they level up their stats like a normal like MMO, possibly. Like we see Hestia doing it to Bell, where she's sitting on his back, and then she's like tampering with his traits and like upgrading him. And I thought that was kind of like a cool little thing where they don't immediately be like, all right, we're in another world
Yeah.
MMO style.
Yeah.
Here, let me do your traits. It's like, no, this is the real world. It's just that these gods are granting the power to be able to change your traits to do this sort of MMO thing.
It almost is like, because it's like it's not an isekai necessarily, because in
No,
isekai we're like, we're in the real world, we get sent to another world, but it's almost like isekai for the gods.
sure. Yes,
So that's like
literally.
just it's just a very interesting way, like you said, the how she is pulling up his stat panel and like playing with his stats and stuff and saying, oh look, he leveled up this much here, leveled up this much there. It's like this is his actual person, but that's how the gods are now able to like channel their power, is through their familia.
And it's very interesting that it's on his back. So he actively needs her to
Hmm.
do it. And he can't see his own stats without her giving him, which is we've seen where she kind of hides something from him in the
Yeah,
future. But we
because yeah,
meet,
that also means that you can't just walk around immediately knowing what other people are capable of doing.
yeah, which is very cool, I think. So we get the whole situation between Ice Wallenstein, the girl that Bell is in love with. And she ends up defeating a Minotaur for him when he was in trouble. We also meet Aina, who is one of the girls there that no, this is not her, right? He meets a lot of
It's
girls,
a lot of
first
girls.
off. And like this is part harem anime sort of too. And it's like, okay, we get the fan service stuff with the boobs and the what are those little sweater things called? I don't know what they're called. They have a
Corsets,
name. The
not
thing that
corsets.
Virgin Killer uh sweaters. Do you know what I mean? This is what she's wearing pretty much, where it like goes down to her butt and then covers
Hmm.
her butt into the front. Whatever. We get that sort of like fan service. And then we also get everybody loving Bell, our
Yeah,
main character. Everybody loves him. Um, not saying like it's bad because of it. It's just like, okay, here we are.
yeah,
Episode one,
we get
he
it.
meets another
Yeah.
girl. They're like, oh my God, Bell. Oh
He
my
meets a
God.
girl that saves him. He already has a, like, a
Hestia.
goddess that's like just totally showing herself to be obsessed with him, and is upset when she finds out, oh, he loves another girl and that's making him stronger. And then immediately right into, oh, he's walking past a tavern and this girl starts flirting with him and gives him a free meal and asks him to come back for dinner.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's not objectively bad, but it is just like, again, I feel like in these first 4 episodes, I had a really hard time keeping the plot. I felt like I was like, my brain was just like, a couple more minutes would pass. I'm like, what's even happening?
Matt, the
Like, what
plot is
what is
to
going
get the
on?
girl. That's the only plot right now. That's all and then we all get like extra stuff into it. The plot critically is that Belle wants to get with Ice. Ice right now, as we see her, is a level 5 who's in Loki family. Belle, a level 1 adventurer. She would never look his way. And remember, Grandpa always said finding and rescuing a girl in a dungeon is the way to get somebody. So that's the crux of it. Of the anime called Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? What did you think it was going to be?
Dang, you guys, we did it.
That's what it is.
Let's just go
Um,
ahead and see you next week.
will he? Won't he? And then all this other stuff about adventuring, MMO, leveling up, ability stuff.
Hmm.
In this episode, we get a lot about Hestia, who is the secondary character alongside Belle. And Hestia only has one adventurer, only has Belle. Are we questioning why right now? We see. I mean, later on we talk about it. There's other gods that have groups of people that have like 5 more. Why would Hestia only have one adventurer and she's
She says
not as
something like,
popular?
she's just not a more popular god, and that's like, again, how the things work. If you want to go back to like the Greek pantheon, there were the more major gods like Zeus,
Mhm.
Loki, Poseidon, but then you have the smaller gods like Apollo. My brain is really racking itself on trying to think of smaller gods, but that's exactly my point. They're not as widely known. So if you have all these gods descending down, and it's that's the situation, then it's like, I want to go with the ones that I've been hearing about that are going to probably be able to provide me the best support if it's
I
my
mean,
choice.
yeah, I mean, if it was my choice, I'd be like, fuck, I want to go with Loki. Like,
Yeah.
yo, she's cool. Hello, Jacob. Welcome to the YouTube stream. Jacob says this anime is hype as fuck once Belle becomes not such a wimp. It's because Hestia is a minor god. She isn't a major one in the Pantheon. Definitely what similar to what Matt just said. Yeah, and then later episodes that we're going to talk about, he definitely does not become a wimp, and it's pretty cool. But we get a lot about Hestia, how she's not the popular one, how she has one adventurer who is Belle, and then Hestia's being kind of sussy with Belle. Um, fan service, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we get information like we were talking about rules against gods using their powers, their arcania, I think is what I caught their name. The name of their powers were they can't use it at all. Um, Hestia brings up stat points on his back. He'll grow faster as long as he continues to like ice. So his ability is contingent on his will or his
Desire.
desire to have ice, and because of that his stat points get boosted. What a wild skill.
What a wild skill.
Which will
It's like it is a wild skill, but I at least like the whole idea that she immediately is like, "Oh, but it's contingent on like also him not knowing." Or like somehow they work that in. She's like, if he knew, it would break basically. And so I like the idea that he is kind of in the dark about it, but she knows. Like that
mhm.
is at least an interesting way to play with that.
And I feel like there's going to be a point in the anime where he does find out and then it just sort of breaks him and then he's like, this is my level cap now, and it's going to be so difficult to level up anymore, which could be maybe like the end of season 1. I don't know, just my thought. We haven't seen it
Thought
yet.
it could have even happened at the end of this first episode here when he was getting trash talked and stuff and he ran away and it's just like, oh, did that
True.
break it? It's like, nope, he doubles down. I want to get stronger. So at least that's where we're at.
We get all the he Bell goes to fight some monsters, and then he comes back to see Seer Flover. Is this girl? Seer?
I didn't get her name.
I think her name is.
There's too many
Okay.
side characters that keep getting
Um,
introduced. There's
oh,
like
one.
4 girls that work at the tavern. There's like 3 that work at the guild. We meet all these gods in episode 2. 2 of them start with an H, and I'm just like, nope, disconnecting.
No,
Your
I was
Bluetooth
gonna.
device has disconnected.
I was gonna ask, are you watching it in dub or sub?
Sub.
I'm watching it in dub, and it's surprisingly not too bad.
Okay.
So I would recommend if you want to just have it on and hear them. Like the voice actors are pretty good. Hestia's voice actress is pretty good, and all the other ones they're not too bad. Belle is pretty good. We get a character called Bet. I think I wrote Bet makes fun of Belle. Belle's to go to fight in the dungeon in anger, and he wants to be stronger to be Ice's partner. Bubsy says, "How you'll learn their names eventually, probably." Yeah, I mean, they like Matt was saying, there are a lot of just girl names, and they just keep hanging out and stuff. So yeah, he vows to get stronger, to be Ice's partner, to fight by her side, and that's the end of episode 1. As in episode 1, where would you rank it on all the other anime we've seen? I mean, it does provide one on the good side. It does provide a pretty cool premise
It
and
provides a good
cool
premise
ideas.
and intrigue with the whole idea of his crush being the power scaling system, Hestia being having a crush on him, and so it's like it provides what you would want as foundation, but like again, I don't know if I would have made it through this first episode. Like not even
Oof.
through this entire first episode. Like right when, and I hate to say it, like it's just it's my taste, it's my preference, it's my opinion, and like when we get into the cut away from the guild and him being back with Hestia, and it's just like I just completely mentally disconnect that you have a crush on this person in the dungeon, but this goddess who is obviously throwing themselves at you, you are just so oblivious to the fact that if gods and humans can't be a thing, like maybe that's a thing, but I don't think they ever really elaborate on that. So that would have been something to at least alleviate that whole, why is he just treating Hestia like a sister? They're not
Belle's
related. They're
Belle's
familia, but is
yeah.
familia blood? Is this God your blood
No,
relative? I'm,
which
I'm
is true.
sorry. It's it just sometimes I just want my cake and I want to eat it too. I want a cool action premise with really cool powers and a really cool system set up, but I don't want boobies in my face every 5 minutes, man.
No boobies, no booby
Um
animes. Matt's
but
drawn the line.
so at that's me. But like at the end of the first episode, I'm like, okay, I can watch another one. But I would not have been able to do that on my own accord. But since we're
Okay.
here, I'm like, okay, I can see it. I can try this.
And it is, anime like this are baked into the male gaze with a guy just being the dumb one and
Exactly.
being like, "Oh my god, all these girls want me," and
Author,
then you're supposed to like self insert yourself
self
into
insert,
Belle's.
author insert. Yeah, go for it. If that's what you're getting out of it, I totally get it. But that's not usually what I'm trying to get out of watching anime.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, little bit of boobies, I'm cool. If it's
It's like
not like
if
if
it's
it's
not the point, if it's just like, hey, the boobs are a part of the character, but sometimes
yeah,
feels like the boobs are the character, and then I'm
sure.
just like, man,
Definitely.
where would you say you're at with this first episode? Are you pressing watch episode 2 if we're not here
If
for the podcast?
Yeah, if we're not doing it for the show, I definitely would just because it does look really pretty. The
It does look
animation
pretty
we haven't
cool.
really mentioned. The animation looks really cool. The colors are very vibrant. There is like a bigger cast of characters. I don't find Hestia super annoying, which some people may find Hestia annoying when she's kind of like doing her thing and being all horny or whatever with Belle. I don't mind it as much as you because I wouldn't. I mean, I'm okay with some of that stuff, but if Hestia was more annoying, then yes, I could see myself being like, "Oh my god, whatever." But she's not as annoying as some characters like this that I've seen in other anime. So I'm just like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
We get some cool. Mainly, what I'm hooked on in this first episode is how simple it is, how simple the premise would be. Like, hey, I my power is hooked to my like and desire for this person, and we have a cool little scale. And we start at the bottom with Belle, and I'm just like, I'm cool. We're starting at level 1, and I want to see where this kid goes because he is somewhat likable. I mean,
hmm
it is odd that everybody falls in love with him at the beginning when they first meet him, but Bell is likable. And I do like this little guy, even though he is oblivious to Hestia and her desires as
yeah,
well. But like, I want to see him go where he can go and see what this larger world is with a bunch of gods in it. And yeah, I think I am um, in it a little bit more. And if I was by myself and watched episode 1, I would have been like, okay, let's go
yeah.
episode 2.
And like kind of what you were saying, like just with Hestia and Belle, I do think that I like Hestia as a character the more we get to see her away from Belle. But when it's the two of them
Yes,
together, I just am not enjoying their interactions. And I think
I
that's where I'm at.
okay. I like that they're like later on she does some other stuff and she's just
hmm
like by herself and doing stuff as a person. And I'm like, oh, this
Exactly.
is
And
cool.
that's when
Like,
I feel like she's getting her own characterization and her own chance
yeah,
to kind of like be fleshed out, because otherwise I'm just going to be looking at her at as Belle's goddess and nothing
yeah,
really more than that. But she gets a chance to be like, no, like I am here. And that's like kind of where I finally like got sold into the show.
definitely. Episode
But which we'll
two,
get there. Yeah.
episode two, Monsterphilia slash Monster Festival. What happens in episode 2 of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
With Belle's new will to be strong, Hestia decides that she will also help him the best that she can. Belle returns to the tavern to pick up the tab he took off on, and the tavern keeper gives him some advice about staying alive. At a party for all the gods, Hestia speaks to Freya and Loki, butting heads a little bit with both of them before she also speaks to, I'm probably going to butcher this, Hephaestus,
Yeah.
asking for a favor. A friendly stranger provides Belle with a mysterious potion, and Hephaestus agrees to create a weapon for Belle under a loan from Hestia. Belle gets asked to return a purse to one of the tavern employees who went to the Monster Philia event, and Hestia disrupts Belle's errand to take him out on a side quest date, which would be interrupted by a monster escaping from the arena. Belle locks Hestia behind a metal door, deciding to buy her some time to escape.
Okay. Other gods are gonna want Bel now. We figure it out that Hestia's like, oh my god. Like, if they find out about Bel's ability or find out about Bel's sort of uh, prowess that will flourish at some point, they're gonna want him. So Hestia is going to keep it from him, his ability that about his love for ice and all that. Um, Seer, which is this one, yes, Seer likes Belle. They he goes to meet them again, and she sort of like likes him. I guess I don't know. Where is this going to go? Because we have his connection with Hestia, his connection with Seer, his connection with the
Well,
manager.
Ice. Oh, the manager. Yeah, I'm forgetting her name, but I do have it somewhere. Aina,
Yeah,
Ina, Ina.
Ina. Then we also see Anya, who's the one that gives the purse to Belle to take, which could be a thing there. Is this just
Yeah, it's just,
whatever?
it's the self insert energy, in my
Okay.
opinion. Every time he gets flirted with by somebody else, even though there's no reason for him to be getting flirted with, I'm just like, yeah, it's just the self insert.
Or are you just jealous of Belle?
Maybe, maybe it's both.
Maybe we're jealous. I don't know. Lord Ganesha hosts
I
a
hate
party
him
for the
because I
god.
want to be him.
Yeah, I hate
You
him
see how
so
green
bad.
I'm turning.
Every girl he talks to falls in love with him. Why can't I be like that? Lord Ganesha is hosting a party for the gods. We see some gods like Freya, Hermes, and Hestia at the party. And instant, like, if it's dumb, but it's funny. I don't know why I laughed. Hestia makes fun of Loki for no
Bro,
boobs.
the second Loki starts walking in, I knew that the flat chested joke was coming.
Uh,
Like, and I hate that. Like, that's just where I go with this type of stuff. Is that sometimes it's just too predictable, and I'm just like, I just start rolling my eyes about it when I can call this shit a mile away.
yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, why? Like, it's not funny to. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not
It's
funny
like,
to like joke about
yeah,
another person's body. It's just
definitely.
not funny. So
It was
it just makes me roll my eyes.
sure. It was just funny for me, I think because I didn't expect it like
Mhm.
you. And I was just like, oh shit. Like, what the fuck? Because she just kept saying, like, no boobs, no boobs, no boobs. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Very, very juvenile, very schoolyard feeling, and like you
Which
said, off the back of already saying like Hestia is like kind of like a little kid, and then they
exactly,
start they personalize her as a little kid, and then it's just like
which adds to the
all
fact
right,
where I'm like, wait, is she a little kid because of the way that she's joking? So it doesn't help the fact that they keep pushing her boobs in front of our faces. And it's like, yeah, what's happening?
yeah,
Um, we get Lord Mayak giving Belle some potions, which we find out what they are later. Hestia begs Hephaestus to make a weapon for Belle, and while having to owe her a bunch later on, she does and makes it herself. Anya tasks Belle to give a purse to Seer at Monsterphilia, which is a huge festival to train monsters to fight them in the Colosseum. So we get sort of a Colosseum,
cut
not
away,
yeah, cutaway, not a tournament arc thing, which I was kind of like, oh, Coliseum, Monsterphilia, what is this little festival? Which maybe I would have been a little more hopeful for, but Freya may try to steal someone. She's talking there a little bit. We get a little Freya shot about her trying to steal someone from another family, and she's talking with Loki. And we have the idea that maybe she's trying to steal Belle, but it
Bell,
wasn't confirmed really. But
yeah.
we can see. Freya unlocks a monster cage planning to stop someone's progress, and the monster is trying to capture Belle while Belle is having this date with Hestia.
But
And
was it trying to capture Bell or Hestia? I thought they said that it was like staring down Hestia.
well, they did say that because the other people thought that the monster was trying to get at a god, but I think Freya specifically said, "Go and capture Belle."
Gotcha.
But people wouldn't understand why they would want to go after Belle, so they're
So
like,
they
"Oh my
assume
god,
that it's after Hestia.
yeah."
That makes sense.
Wow, really, and Belle thinks that as well. Belle thinks that it's going after Hestia, but really Freya was like, "No, I want Belle because he is going to do a thing possibly in the future or whatever.
He's gonna be
I want
strong.
him. He's going to be a strong boy and we need him." So after all of the arc of Hestia or Hephaestus making the weapon for Belle, and it comes out and it's like, this is going to be a thing. Um, and it's like the best knife or whatever, and we're like, dope, 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 here we go. And then at the end of the episode, Belle leaves Hestia just to like to protect her, of
Hmm.
course,
Hmm.
because he is her protector, sort of, in this world. But I'm screaming at the fucking TV. Hestia has the knife around her
And
chest
she's
here,
just not giving it to him.
and she's just like, "No, Belle, don't give him the knife." Why does she not give him the knife earlier? This Hephaestus made best in the world weapon wouldn't. I mean, I get
Hephaestus
that
is
you.
literally like, this type of a weapon is seen as a, I forget what word she uses, but like a social taboo. I think she says in this episode, maybe the
Mhm.
next one, but I think it's in this one where she's basically just like, yeah, it's a incredibly strong weapon designed to be used by somebody who is weak, and it will grow stronger with them. It is alive. I think we get that next episode actually. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, it's like, yeah, she tells you all this, and you don't give the weapon to him to fight the thing that's terrorizing
Like,
you.
it could have been it didn't have to be, like, super ceremonious. It could have been her throwing it through the bars that
Mhm.
he locks him through or locks her in. Um,
Or it could have been because I think at one point, like, it almost gets her, or it splits them up, and it could be that like she drops it or something. Even like it doesn't have to be an intentional thing, like you said, but it's there. Why are we pretending like it's not?
she does not mention it at all. I think it was because later on in the next episode, she has to, like, attune it to him or something,
Mhm.
which takes up time, which builds suspense or whatever. But, like, it's just making dumb decisions on screen, and I'm like, why are we what are we doing? Like, it get it to give it for an effect at the end of the episode. Oh, I got to see what happens at episode 3 or whatever. But it's like I'm screaming at the TV, like, why are you not giving it to me here or at some other
I
point?
just
Like,
wanted to
give
take him out on a cute date first.
no, no. Um, how do you like we talked a little bit about it before, but the whole little monster ball, I kind of liked the Lord Ganesha's little party with the gods. I liked
Oh,
seeing some other
the
gods.
party itself was, like I said, it's really, I think it's a really funny idea after the whole we're not gods anymore, and you have gods being like, oh, has it been like 400 years? No, it's been 4 days, and like
Hmm.
stuff like that. You have Hestia, who's like, Familia is really poor, that we can see. So like, she's at the party and she's at the hors d'oeuvres table, just like, give me as much as I
Yeah,
can get. So it's like, it's a fun setting to provide good comedic relief, but it did feel, I don't know. I understand they need Hestia to have a way to meet with Hephaestus so she can get the weapon crafted, but I feel like that situation, that setting was kind of like underutilized.
definitely. Like, I wanted more of
More gods.
gods
Give us that
talking to
when
each
it's like we're
other.
ready for like a batch of gods, where it's like
Yeah,
now the world is going to really start to open up. But it felt like the world was about to open up, and then we only really meet Loki and Freya, and we
Freya.
don't really get much out of them. And then we meet Hephaestus, who I thought was going to be just as like, get away from me as Loki was, but thankfully she was like, "Oh, there's some history that we can see between the two of them," because Hephaestus says something like, "Oh, you've changed,"
Hmm.
and so that also lends a curiosity to like what has happened in the past that would make Hestia not seem like they would be deserving of this, but now they are. Which it's probably Belle, that's probably the short answer, but
It's always Belle. It's always gonna be
what
Belle.
actually happened? Uh,
Let's get into it. Episode 3, Hestia knife slash knife of the goddess. What happens in episode 3?
A lot of action in this one. A hooded figure oversees all the ensuing chaos as Belle and Hestia attempt to get away from the monster. Hestia now split from Belle. They attempt to return back to him to give him the new knife. Belle concedes to defeat just as the knife is able to be given to him, allowing him to turn the tables on the monster and save everyone in the vicinity. The hooded figure is shown again before we see Hestia and Belle sharing a moment later that evening. Belle left in tears after understanding the dedication that Hestia has for him.
Woo!
So this episode, the end of this episode, this is when I'm like, I can buy the relationship off that interaction. Like, that is not something that we can get out of episode 1, and I understand that, but it's like from that point, it's like if they can take this and continue to build on it, like I'm bought on the two of them like growing stronger together.
Yeah, definitely. I
But before
do.
now, wasn't really sold on it. Especially when
Yeah,
she's
for
just
sure.
running around with his knife on her back, not giving it to him with a fucking level 5 monster or whatever, just chasing them around. Anyways,
At the beginning of this episode, we find out information more about Belle's grandpa, which makes me think that Belle's grandpa is not actually
actually
dead,
dead.
that his grandpa died from a monster and fell into a chasm, which makes me believe it's
No
going to be
body, no
something.
death.
No body, no death on screen. So we know he's probably still alive. Um, the knife is alive and he gets attuned to it to his level is over 600 or something that she says. Ice is told. There's also this other plot where Loki and Ice are told about what's going on, and Ice is trying to go and kill all the monsters. And Ice does end up killing all of the other monsters, leaving
Except
this
for the
one.
silverback.
Yes, that Belle does end up take out. Um, there was a point in all the action which I really liked. I liked the action. I liked the tension of him, and it did show stuff that I really like, where this monster is destroying the town, sort of, and you could see the townspeople reacting to it and being like, "Oh fuck, like that's my coffee shop or whatever."
Not my
And
cabbages.
yeah, yeah, like they're like it's building this little town together or this area together because we're seeing those reactions how actual people would be like, oh shit man, a monster here sucks, but like
It
bro
reminds me
he's
of like the Marvel movies where Avengers is just, you have Hulk throwing an entire car down the block, and
yeah.
some guys looking like that's my car.
Yeah, exactly. Which would be, I mean, we're supposed to see it as like super cool, but like realistically, yes.
Yeah.
I wish they acted more
So
like
it
they
grounds
did in
it.
this
It
episode,
grounds the event. It grounds the chaos, and it makes it feel real.
which is really good and fun in this episode. Like I
Mhm.
liked all of that action sequence really. But there was one point where to get away from the monster and hide from the monster, there's two buildings here,
I
and then
know.
there's like a
Yeah.
wall here. And there was an opening in the alleyway. I don't know if it maybe I've just never been in an area like this or if this is just something that's not in places I've been, but there's a wall here. Bell doesn't have magic. He kicks the wall and it just opens up and then he hides behind the wall. What mechanic, what sort of secret passage is this? Was there like a secret speakeasy that we didn't know about that was the door opening for it? He just kicks a in the alley wall. No door, no nothing. Kicks it open, closes it, seamless wall. What was that?
I couldn't tell you. Even that, and in addition to this, the part where he slams like he like locks Hestia away from like
In a
with the
cave,
iron
yeah.
cage, the iron like door or whatever. It wasn't there in the cut before. Like it was just an open alley with no door, but then all of a
Mhm.
sudden he's shutting a door and locking it in a random alley. So yeah, the chase definitely had some continuity problems for sure, but
Yeah,
at least it was well animated.
it was well animated.
It
It
was
looked
very well.
beautiful
It was super
while there
smooth.
were
A lot of like different techniques in the different like moment to moments that you could see being portrayed because it's sometimes we have fight scenes or action in anime where it's like just the cut to like the final blow and stuff, and everything else is kind of like you really can't tell, but it gives you like an actual shonen style, like a full camera view of like the protagonist in motion and the problem in motion at the same
Mhm.
time, which just feels very dynamic to see both of those things playing out instead of having to like, oh, here's a cut of him doing something, here's a cut of the bad guy doing something, and cut and cut and cut. It's just like one shot, smooth action. Love it.
Yeah. I those two were the only moments where it just kind of took me out of all of the things that were happening. It was all really good. It was
I
just some
definitely,
logic.
yeah, I was like, what's going on here?
There's some logic skips here, but it's fine, and I'll get over it. Um, I get it. There was supposed to build a connection with Belle and Hestia during this whole will she give him the knife? Will he won't? You're supposed to be building a connection like our weapon. We're going to do this together. And I love it. It's great, but just give him the sword,
Yeah.
give him the thing. We're building character, and that's so great. And this is exactly what, like you're saying, could not be established in episode one. And now I am definitely more on Hestia and Belle's side. And it's not just Hestia being horno for Belle, but like just give him the sword. He's taking out people's houses and taking over the town. Like they haven't found him yet. They haven't Ice hasn't gone to kill him. There's still this one huge monster out. Just give it to him. We find out that his total skill level is above 600. Belle goes wild and kills the ape. I love that it is still a little knife, that he
Mhm.
wanted a little sword or a bigger sword, but this is something that he's used as well. So he kind of uses his abilities that he knows how to like
Yeah.
move and fight. And it was really cool. I like that he killed the ape and it looked beautiful. The animation was great, and how it actually happened. He just left it in him. And then after all this, the part that I didn't really understand, Hestia sort of faints.
I forgot about that.
Hestia
It's
faints.
that's because something to do with Freya, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
Freya
Freya,
says it's like I might have done something bad to Hestia.
wonder if I did
So
something bad to Hestia.
like
Okay,
something because of something that Freya did caused her to faint or pass out. That's how I took that.
possibly.
But it never I feel as though if the show directly shows that happening, I didn't catch it at all.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I thought it was because she was maybe just running around a whole lot, as me just trying to figure out what happened here. Because I was like, why did she faint this whole after all this? Maybe because she was just exerting herself a bunch, and she exerted power to level up Bell or something.
Or
I don't know,
tune the weapon,
to
something.
tune the weapon, the powerful weapon that is that Hephaestus had made.
Our weapon.
It's our weapon. But I was like, why did she faint? So we get into this where Hestia says she loves Belle, and they're together on each other's side, that we're gonna grow together and we're gonna be this thing, and this knife is gonna grow with us. And I'm down for this little crew. I maybe would like to see one or two more members of the Familia, but if it's just them two against the world, I'm cool with it. And then there's like a little cut scene at the end of Gato, who's a character we haven't met before, I don't think. Gato putting down a red-haired girl with a big backpack,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
that they were in the dungeon, and Gato's like, "You fucking suck, bro."
Suck.
But he said, "Down for the Hestia family." Yeah, I'm down for the Hestia family, whatever it's gonna be, whether it's just them two, and they don't end up together. I guess they're just friends, the friends along the way. Whether it's just them or more
The
people,
real
I'm cool with it.
DanMachi were the friends we made along the way.
Episode 4, Supporter Weakling. What happens in episode 4?
Due to Bell's new level, he is advised to go shopping for new armor by Aina. They go shopping at the novice smiths that work for Hephaestus Familia. Hestia catches the two out to her own dismay as she's working off her loan. Bell is able to find a set of light armor he enjoys, and later on, he jumps to the defense of a girl being attacked. Lily ends up being his first supporter, requesting to follow him into the dungeons to carry all the spoils for him. Bell feels as though he's leaning on the power of his knife, maybe just a little too much, just in time for it to show up missing. Lily stole the knife and gets caught after attempting to pawn it off by the tavern employees. They don't out Lily to Bell, and Bell shows Lily he holds no remorse and only sees her as an equal. Something is going on with Freya as she is sitting on the sidelines, but now she talks about intervening.
Ooh, Freya.
Freya.
Bubsy says the girls in the dungeon were the friends we made along the way. Very true.
I think they
We've
want to be more than friends with Belle.
more than they are. They all start out as friends. The
You
girls in
touched
the
me in
dungeon.
my special spot.
Brother,
I'm just saying, man. These are
Lily.
the lines the show gives me.
I know another childlike character here, which is they mention many times she is a chianthrope, an animal person. It's like, ooh, furries have entered the chat. Um, and he touches her, he pets her behind the ear, and that's her special spot. And it's like, okay, man, cool, whatever.
Right there on your head. Right there. That's the special
Right
spot.
there, that's the
Gotcha.
spot. It's kind of like Scott Pilgrim, where she was behind the knee or something. Um, Bell
Oh.
Bell has an E status, so he is gaining momentum here, and he wants to go to floor 7. Ina instead was like, "We need to get some more armor." So we get sort of a little bit of a shopping episode, but I really like where this went. It's not a normal shopping episode because, I mean, first we get the whole, "Oh my god, Ina, you look so good," but then we get, of course, that Hesja's working in the shop. She needs to pay off this huge debt. I thought that
Yep.
was really funny
It
and
was
really
it was a
clever.
very funny way of working it in. And that's like it, honestly, it's when she shows up and I make that connection, like, without the show really having to throw it in my face. I'm like, okay, I'm super intrigued to see what else this show could throw at me at this point. Like
Mhm.
just by curiosity. Because they are just having fun with it in a lot of ways, and I'm here for it if it's just going to be a silly fun time, honestly. If it wants to take it down a more like, turn itself on its head and really go down the serious route later on, I'm also down for that. But if we're just here for silly fun times, like sure, I can get behind it.
In the shop while Ina and Belle are rummaging and things like that, he picks up some armor, some light armor that he really likes. Well, that's not the armor. Where is it? I think this is the armor. And they do mention that it's made by a Welf Crozo. Because he looks at the box and he looks at the armor. He's like, Welf Crozo. I don't know why they spent seconds on it. I don't know if it's going to make any difference in the future, but it was an interesting note. Welf Crozo. Who's that? But he said, imagine this show is just about paying off debt. Yes. Is it wrong to pick up girls at a dungeon? I have a enormous debt that I must pay off to a god or something. That could make the title longer.
I used to be a god and I took out a loan to get a really nice knife for my familia. There you go.
I just want to get into an anime with a long name or a manga that has a long name that's good.
This one's 10 words.
It
Is it
is. But then
wrong
people
to pick up girls in
to
a
try to
dungeon?
pick up girls in a dungeon.
11.
Yeah. Ina gives Belle a gift. Ryu was the one that stops the fight between Belle and Gato. So this is the character that we met earlier. He is protecting him, this person that we don't know yet. But then automatically, Lily is the girl that shows up. So it's like, yeah, of course it's the same girl. She is a supporter, also a chianthrope, and she likes Belle too. And their full name is Lily Ruka. Lily
Does
is a
she like
part of
Belle too,
the
or I thought that like she might have just like wanted to take his knife from the
yes,
go.
definitely that. But I think by the end of the episode, she does end up
By the
sort of
end of the
liking him
episode for
too.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. After
Um,
after she's like, you're gonna give me an equal amount of money,
yeah, I didn't do nothing. What does the supporter do? Does the supporter
bro.
supposed to heal?
To me it looks like that you should just carry the spoils, so that way the person just needs to focus on fighting, and then you're the logistics person. You
But then,
carry all the
yeah,
potions, all the loot and everything in between.
yeah, that makes sense. I just want to know what are in these big backpacks because we see a lot of people with
Huge
huge
backpack.
ass backpacks and they're all super little. Like in the left there's another person with
You're
an
right.
equally large backpack. Like, what do you care? Are you carrying a camp set? Are you carrying some bunks if they're going to stay down in the dungeon for the night? What are
There's
you
a whole
carrying?
campsite in there.
Entire campsite. Maybe it's like the TARDIS. It's just bigger on the inside. Um,
Bag of holding.
yeah, bag of holding. Lily is a part of the Soma familia, and they give us an example of another Soma person that is just very desperate, that they are there's a lot of people in this familia that just don't have a whole lot of money, I suppose, or um
Because all they do is they said that like they trade, I think, and like there's something else that they said that was like half sketchy. That was like, oh, so like they just do whatever they can to get by, basically.
yeah. Uh I don't remember what they do, but they did
Maybe it
show
was the
another
trading part that
person.
sounded sketchy. I don't know. It was like, trading on the black market or something like that. I'm gonna need to relook at that one.
The Soma familia, bro, they're just poor. Let them go. Let them be. The familia seems desperate, and Lily does indeed steal Belle's knife. Ryu notices the knife, chases her down, and they don't give her up, which is interesting. Don't know why they did that. Um, but Belle does not know that Lily was the one to steal it,
Mm-hmm.
because I think maybe they were unsure as well. I think they were unsure if she was actually stealing it, or if she found it
Mm-hmm.
and was just trying to give it back to Belle, but then she panicked and ran. So I think there's believable doubt that she did in fact steal it. So I think that's why they didn't give it away.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, we get Freya says Belle has power deeply within him, and we get an after credit scene of Hestia sees Belle with yet another girl, Lily. So we get these little scenes where Hestia just consistently sees Belle hanging out with another girl, whether it be Ina. I mean, we had that whole confrontation in the shop where he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Who's this? Ina, another one."
Who is this half elf
Yeah,
you're with?
yeah. And then now at the
Caught elf handed.
after the after credits scene of Hestia seeing him with another girl, Lily, it was really funny. So we're gonna have Lily as his supporter because he just gives her half, and even though he does all the work, he's just like, yeah, sure, why
Bro,
not?
there's one time as a bartender where my support person for like an evening that I worked was like I gave him like his cut, and then I gave him a little bit extra and told him why I was giving him extra, and he was
Yeah.
like, oh, this isn't like a 50-50 thing. And I'm like, bro, you washed dishes while I made cocktails. This is not a 50-50 thing.
Oh
I'm
no.
sorry to break it to you. So all I'm saying, Belle is better than me.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, better than me
Way better
too.
than me.
I would have been like, so 5%,
I would be
10%.
like, here's a few gold coins and I'll buy you dinner.
Yeah, probably it would be like a dinner thing. It'd be like whatever you want.
You're
Have
not
some
putting your
drinks.
life on the line.
Yeah, definitely. Um, did that supporter guy for you have a big backpack?
Yeah. Broke his back
Just there, a huge ass backpack behind you. Where do
doing
you
dishes.
think this is going? In these first 4 episodes, we get the world built, we get the connection with Hestia, we get his new knife, we get Lily in Soma Familia possibly just not caring about the knife anymore because she found out that it was meaningless
Yeah.
or pointless for anybody else to hold it other than Belle.
Yeah, because the guy was
Um,
like, I can run it back and forth and it's not cutting
Bubsy
anything at
said
all.
Bell Kun needs to chill with the aura. He has too much aura for this world. Uh, help! I was sent to a magic. I was sent to another world, and my aura is too much for it. I have all the girls. That's
And
the new
now I
title.
keep picking up girls in a dungeon.
Yeah, there. Help! My aura is too strong for this world, and I keep picking up girls into the dungeon. New title.
New
Love
title.
it. So we get all of the new characters. We get the building of the world. We get Hestia family. We get Soma family. We have Loki's family, which is Ice is a part of who he really wants. And then we have Freya, who is also trying to stop Belle from reaching the power deeply within him. Where do
Mhm.
you think this is going by the end of season one? Can I get like a prediction
Yeah.
or
I
vague
want I want
thought?
something to be going on with Freya where it's like, oh, things aren't truly as they seem, and maybe now familias are going to be pitted against each other. Maybe
Okay.
in some sort of a tournament-esque style thing where they're like, oh, we want to do this clean, we want to do this right. That's where I would want to see it. Like, hey, everybody, you need to have your champion for representing your familia step into the arena no, maybe no deaths, but it's I don't know, just something that's like for season 2. I want something that's gonna like really, what I'm trying to say is I want something that's gonna bring out the other familia in a more way that like we can get them to be more characterized and become a bigger part of the story, because this first season I feel like it's going to be focusing a lot on Belle and Hestia and their familia, kind of putting it together, this ragtag group of a found family. But now what are the challenges our found family has to face?
Okay. I definitely could see Freya either leaning super good or super bad. And I don't know which one I feel more because, yeah, she could just be the super bad person that just wants to have the power for herself and build like sort of a monopoly or or some, because we haven't seen her family yet, right? We haven't seen who is a part of her family
We know
or
it's big, probably,
the
but I don't think we've
adventures.
seen anybody.
Yeah, the
I think we've
adventures
seen
that
one
she's chosen.
person, because there's like one person when we had those cutaways where like she was talking to somebody else. Wasn't there like somebody else standing next to her or something like that?
Yeah, so she may have like some sort of castle or some dominance like a queen. So I can see her just being the bad one where she's like, I
And that's
have all
kind of
this
how she
power.
that's how she
And
was kind of presented, even when she like started
yeah.
walking down the stairs. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's Freya. Oh, it's Freya. There she
Hmm.
is."
So I can definitely see that where she just is the bad person that is trying to have all the power for herself and have as many powerful people that are on her familia, and she wants Belle a part of it. For some reason, she notices that he does have some sort of thing. Or I could see that w- under the wrong tutelage, which she may think that Hestia is, Belle could ultimately have some sort of power that would be like a god, and she's trying to stop him from being a bad person or something, where she's like, yo, inside of him is this thing that us gods have, and we're not allowed to use our power, and we can't. But if he gets to this level, he will have the power of a god, and I don't know if we can stop him. So I can
And
see
that
that.
I could see that too, given the fact that Belle keeps alluding to the fact that like, I don't have any other family, but I used to. I don't
Hmm.
want to lose any more family because I've already lost everybody else. So it's like we don't know what his blood relations are. We don't know what the rest of his actual familia looked like before Hestia comes into the picture. So yeah, what is this like uh what do you call it? This wild card's potential. Where
Yeah.
is it? Where does it lie?
So I definitely want something like that. One of those two, I think I'm leaning towards, but I think the crux of the story in season one is going to be Freya, and they've been set up for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, by next week, are we going to do 4 or 5? Do you think this week?
It's only 12 for the full season, right?
I thought it was 13,
Uh,
but we are going to be talking about is it wrong to try to pick up girls in the dungeon next week, next Wednesday, hopefully.
oh,
Um,
it is 13. So yeah, let's do 5.
so watch 5 episodes, episode 5, 6, 7, and 8. 4 episodes by next Wednesday when we do it live, or you can wait for the show to
Oh,
come out.
4 or 5, because it's 13 episodes.
Oh,
9.
5 episodes, you
5
said.
episodes. Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8,
8,
9.
9. Yes. We
5,
can
6,
count.
7, 8, 9. Watch 5 episodes of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Girls in the Dungeon? DanMachi. Season 1 is what we're talking about, and we just talked about 1 through 4. So watch 5 episodes by next week, and we'll be live here on this channel wherever you're watching, on Twitch, YouTube, whatever. We're switching services by next week, so I'm gonna try and put it on my TikTok too. If that's your preferred way of viewing videos, it'll be on TikTok. But as always, you can watch it on Spotify, and you can watch it on our Anime Hour Pod YouTube channel in the description of this video. Matt, where can they find you on the internet?
When I'm not here, you can follow me on my YouTube at Matt_Galley. You can follow me on my socials, Twitter, Instagram at it's Matt_Galley. Just add an ITS at the front. Jules, when we're not here, being jealous and not trying to self-insert as Belle, where can the people find you?
Follow me on my YouTube channel at JulesTheHuman, at JulesTheHuman on all social media. I've been posting on Instagram too, at JulesTheHuman, talking about a bunch of stuff on Twitter. Been talking about wrestling and stuff on Twitter. But you can also, like I said, watch this show on the Anime Hour Pod and our YouTube channel. Links are in the description of this video. So if you want to check out Matt's YouTube channel, it's in the, just click his name, go to the Anime Hour Pod. We're going to be posting shorts when they finally get the whole more
Short
than 1 minute
longs.
shorts, the long shorts going. I do have some that we've made, and they're going to be going up on the Anime Hour Pod YouTube channel first. So go check those out. Yeah, you can watch the podcast on Spotify if you're in the car or whatever. See all the anime we've already done. This is an anime podcast where we just watch anime together, and hopefully the community watches it, and then we rate it by the end. We have a ton that have been rated. So go check out all the anime. Also, if you're in America, today's the last day to early vote. Make sure to vote. I don't care who it's for, but just go vote. You need to go vote for stuff. It's important. And yeah, especially if you're in Texas. If you're in Texas, let's get that motherfucker out of here. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Watch episodes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.